I'm a Machine Rights Center. I'm here today to claim that our regular amount of animal testing and laws we have enforcing it are properly being used today. And I'm going to first respond to the affirmative's significance claim that the use of animal testing is a violation of their rights and that it's inhumane towards them. And first, I'm going to start off by saying that it's okay to do animal testing the way we do it because animals do not have the same rights as people. And because this is based off the theory that rights are delegated to living and thinking creatures based off their ability to have reasonable thought. And as we know, animals do not have reasonable thought. They can feel pain and they can eat and sleep just like we do, but they do not have the capacity to think and reason. And one example is from Deborah Miller in Is Animal and Medical Experimentation Justified? She says, I know firsthand that the whole movement is based off a single invalid syllogism. Namely, men feel pain and have rights, animals feel pain, therefore animals have rights. The argument is entirely specious because men's rights do not depend on the ability to feel pain, they depend on the ability to think. So when we say that animals, this is a violation of their rights because they feel pain, that's not necessarily the most important factor here. We have to keep in mind that animals are not on the same level as human beings, and therefore it is okay to subject them to sometimes painful measures, which a lot of the time they are not painful. And they claim that this is unethical because of pain, but also human life is more sacred than animal life. And another quote from Deborah Miller, it says, no sane person seeks to inflict needless pain on animals. Such practices where they exist should be condemned, but anyone concerned for human life must unequivocally endorse the rightness of use of animals in medical research. And this is because a lot of benefit comes from animal research, so a lot of benefit towards humans. And if having to choose between an animal right or an animal life and human life, most people would pick a human life because they do have more rights than animals do. So it's kind of a reason why their significance claim does not really apply here, because they assume animals have the same rights people do. Which leads to the next claim, their inherency claim that that animal testing is inefficient and that it can cause problems because there's problems of crossing over between humans and animals, and all sorts of complications arise from there. But I have some evidence saying to the contrary of that, and one's from the website Protest Standing Up for Science, and it says, in the last 5 years in the UK, no fewer than 3 independent inquiries have been carried out into the effectiveness of animal research in developing medicines for human use. The House of Lords Select Committee, the Parliament Animal Procedures Committee, and Independent Newfield Council on Bioethics all conclude that animal testing is a scientifically sound method, has yielded great results in the past, and is crucial for future advances. Anti-vivisectionists continue to call for public inquiries and will continue to do so until they get the result they want, which will never be forthcoming given the overwhelming scientific evidence in favor of animal research. So it's not like we never check up to see if what we're doing is actually being effective. We're continuously checking ourselves to make sure that this is actually something worthwhile. And I have some evidence from the UCLA website, because they do animal testing on the campus, and they had a list of benefits that animal testing has done, 2 of which has been for Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease. And according to UCLA, the Parkinson's disease UCLA scientists pioneered deep brain stimulation, the surgical procedure used to treat a variety of disabling neurological symptoms, most commonly debilitating symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Basically, what they were making great headway in these diseases that don't necessarily have cures yet. And for Alzheimer's, the UCLA people said, Alzheimer's disease using rodent models, UCLA researchers have developed a new diagnostic technology that utilizes positron emission tomography. So they're clearly doing great things over at UCLA with animal testing. So it may have some problems, but on the whole, it's generally very effective. And in their next claim, they say that the AWA is highly ineffective in protecting animal rights, but that's also not true because I have evidence here saying that it is regularly enforced, and so yeah. I have here from the USDA, which is in charge of overseeing the enforcement of the AWA. Our inspectors conduct unannounced visits to licensed and registered facilities where they review all areas of care and treatment covered under the law. If we find deficiencies in affiliates' compliancy with the law, we typically give a facility a date by which to correct these problems. And then I also have here investigations that reveal AWA violations are acted on in a variety of ways depending on their severity. Or when a case is designed as high priority, AC, IES, and USDA's Office of General Counsel put special emphasis on the investigation and enforcement of the case. They clearly care to make sure that these laboratory researchers are following the law. And they actually do enforce these. It says, as of February 25th, 2011, APHIS has opened 202 open AWA investigations involving dog dealers. Of those, 113 are open investigations at the field level, and 89 are completed investigations that are in pending review for enforcement action. So you can see that they're not just laying around and ignoring what these people are doing, that they are taking care to make sure that these laws are being followed. And they also mentioned that the ICVAM is trying to find alternate research methods. And I think this actually goes to help the case for animal testing, because if they have these separate committees that are designed to find alternate research methods, but we're still using animal testing, it kind of attests to how important animal testing is and how much is needed, because they have all these new methods, but it's still not enough to replace something that's been proven. And animal testing is still widely used despite all these measures because it has proven results in the past. And I think since we're still on the brink of finding cures for all these diseases, it'd be a bad decision to stop using methods that have been proven to work in the past and to try to develop new methods. I think it's just a waste of time. So thank you.